Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of York on this Wednesday, May 27th. This is the 22nd largest Rotary Club in the world, and we're very glad that you're joining us for today's online meeting. To get it started, Aaron Jacobs will lead our opening song, which is Yankee Doodle, and following Aaron will be Patty Rooney, who will deliver the invocation. Aaron.
Thank you, President Josh. It's Yankee Doodle Boy, what we're going to sing. So here we go. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, Yankee Doodle do or die. A real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, she's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the ponies, and I am a Yankee Doodle boy. Thank you. District Governor Patty Rooney.
Let us join together in the word of prayer. Gracious God, mighty Lord, you bless us with every good gift and pour your abundant grace and blessings upon us and upon our communities. And for all these blessings and graces, we give you thanks and rejoice in your love. We pray this day for all those who work with our young people, especially those who serve in scouting. May the youth who participate in such programs grow in learning and understanding of the service they provide to others, and as a result, make them stronger members of our communities for the future. May the Girl Scouts in the heart of Pennsylvania continue to be a place for sound learning, new discovery, and the pursuit of wisdom. Through our Rotary service, may we be strengthened for continued service to our communities, and may all that we do this day and into the future be done to the glory of your most holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Patty, and thank you, Aaron. Really appreciate the help today. On to some quick announcements. As always, we're looking for good program ideas. As you know, everything is changing day to day, week to week. And just this morning, Mike Summers was locking in next week's program. So if you have good program ideas, please reach out to Mike. We're absolutely looking for any good idea that you might have to present to an online audience, and really appreciate those ideas. Please send them to Mike when you have an opportunity. Quick reminder that coming up here in a few days on May 31st is the deadline to apply for the Whiteley Loan Fund Scholarship. This fund was originally started in 1942 through the last will and testament of Ida Osborne Whiteley. And loan funds are available to students from York County who are attending college or trade school. And up to $2,000 for 4 years is available to students. Please see Renee for additional questions. If you know anybody who would make a good candidate, she can give you all of the details on that loan fund. I mentioned a few weeks ago that David Boboade was looking for a host family to spend the summer with. Well, thanks to Bert Oberdick for stepping up to host David for the summer. And I got a message from Rob Bowen, who asked that I pass along his thanks. Rob was the hosted David for the last 4.5 months or so. And Rob asked that I pass along thanks to both Walt Tilley and to Bert. Thanks to Walt for being for his great work as a liaison and mentor for David, and to Bert for hosting David for the summer. Come this fall, Walt is hoping to find some off-campus student housing for David so that David can finish his senior year at York College. And we're hoping to get that done. Thanks to Walt and Rob and Bert for all the things you're doing and the impact you're making on David's life. Now, this is a fun one. Fred Minnick has been a member of our club since early June of 1959. 61 years. Fred, I'm not sure if you're with us today or not, but if you are, thank you for being a member of our club for such a very long time and for all of your years of service to Rotary. Dedicated members like you don't come along every day, and it's great to have a member of our club be with us for 61 years. It's an amazing accomplishment, Fred. Thanks so much. And a quick note, just to send any opening song or poll ideas to me if you get a chance. I'm trying to finish out my Rotary year as president, which is through the end of June, with new songs for each of the next few weeks. So if you have any good ideas for songs, please shoot me an email or let me know. And as I've said in the past few weeks as well, we look forward to your ideas for the poll questions And thanks to Gordon Freirich for sending in the idea for this week's poll question, which you'll see in a few moments. Many of you know longtime member Art Kaley, who has been a member of the Rotary Club of York for about 18 years. He's been a fixture of the local music scene and has personally funded our club's Kaley Rising Musician Scholarship. And so far, the scholarship has helped 7 students with over $5,500. And those students are ones who are studying music, music education, or a related field. Now, due to health reasons, Art has not been able to join us for meetings for a while and has recently decided to resign from the club. And while I've missed seeing Art at our meetings when we were getting together at the country club, it's been my distinct privilege to now name Art a member emeritus of our club. The club's board of directors voted on this back in April to name Art a member emeritus, and it recognizes both his years of service to Rotary and also his incredible service to the community as it relates to music and all of the connections that Art had and made with the music community here in York. So it's a great privilege to have Art join the great company of our other members emeritus, Don Butcher, Marcia Bornt, and Jack Henkel, just to name a few. Art, congratulations on being named member emeritus. We really appreciate all you've done for the community and the club over the years. All right, it's time for this week's poll. And as you may know, our speaker today is from the Girl Scouts. And so our poll question offered up by Gordon Freirich is related to that. Great question today. What is your favorite type of Girl Scout cookie? Now, we've listed 4 here, and perhaps your answer isn't on this list, but we did our best to pick 4 that we thought might be good choices. So please take a minute to vote on what your favorite type of Girl Scout cookie is. Thin Mints, Do-si-dos, s'mores, or Lemon Ups. And as the results come in, Courtney will start reading them off. And in the meantime, please send me poll questions for next week or the week after if you can. We look forward to those. And Courtney, let me know as you start getting results.
Yep, looks like we have about 40 that came in so far. I'm going to wait till we get to about 100, and then I will read the results. Give it about 10 more seconds.
And while we're waiting for the results to come in, I would like to send a quick shout out to JT Hand. JT was very kind and dropped off some Girl Scout cookies for me just a little while ago, just as Eric Menzer had dropped off some hot dogs last week. I didn't realize that this gig as president of the Rotary Club was going to be so much fun and end up with so much food here at my office. But thanks to JT for dropping off cookies. He is an ambassador for the Girl Scouts and was kind enough to drop off these cookies. So if anybody wants to join me for some Girl Scout cookies, I have a box of Thin Mints, a box of Samoas, and a box of Do-si-dos here that you're welcome to stop by my office this afternoon and share with me if you'd like. Courtney, how we doing?
Hey, same thing. I also got a box delivered to me as well. So thank you very much to the Girl Scout. I appreciate the Thin Mints. I'm actually eating them right now as I'm sitting here. So our results are in. 56% came up with saying that they like the Thin Mints, 28% the Do-si-dos, 10% lemon, and 6% s'mores. So thank you everybody for voting.
Thanks everybody. Let's keep that going with fun poll questions. And again, thanks to Gordon for sending that one in. Now, as we've done for the past several weeks, every week we try to do something new and different with our online Rotary meetings. And this week, it's a great privilege to have a student musician performance. I'd like to introduce to you Kendall O'Keefe. And Kendall is finishing up her senior year at Northeastern High School. Or maybe you've already finished it, Kendall, sometime very soon.
Yeah.
Yep. And come fall, she'll be going to Penn State, and she'll be studying, I guess, astrophysics and astronomy. Very cool. Very cool. She's been very involved in student activities and programs. She's a talented singer and a great student, and I'm sure she makes her parents very proud. Today,
Yes.
Kendall will be singing Mamma Mia. Kendall, take it away.
All right, like I said, I'm going to be singing Mamma Mia from my senior musical, Mamma Mia. I was cheated by you, and I think you know when. So I made up my mind, it must come to an end. Look at me now, will I ever learn? I don't know how, but I suddenly lose control. There's a fire within my soul. Just one one look and I can hear a bell ring. One more look and I forget everything. Whoa, whoa, mamma mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist ya? Mamma mia, does it show again? My, just how much I missed ya. Yes, I've been broken hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma mia, now I really know. My, I should not have let you go. I was angry and sad when I knew we were through. I can't count all the times I cried over you. Look at me now, will I ever learn? I don't know how, but I suddenly lose control. There's a fire within my soul. Just one look and I can hear a bell ring. One more look and I forget everything. Whoa, whoa, mamma mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist ya? Mamma mia, does it show again? My, just how much I missed ya. Yes, I've been broken hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma mia, now I really know. My, I should not have let you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Kendall. That was fabulous. Really
Thank
appreciate it. And thanks to Lynn Bergdahl for setting this up for us. As you know, Lynn's been doing this with us for a lot of years and has connections to all of the local schools and the productions at the Belmont. Kendall, thanks very much. It was fabulous. Look forward to you joining us maybe at some point in the future. Okay, let's move on to our local business spotlight today. This has been a lot of fun too. I've been trying to spotlight a local business, sometimes in the for-profit world, sometimes in the nonprofit world, and sometimes in the government world. And today the spotlight shines on the York County Alliance for Learning. And you may know Executive Director of YCAL, Kevin Apnell, who's a Rotarian in our club. YCAL's mission is to connect education and employers to create career education experiences for students in York County. Their offerings include direct student impact programs such as Manufacturing Days tours that take place in early October and celebrate National Manufacturing Days. They also do 40 different career exploration programs that get students out of schools and into businesses for the day. And they have a catalog of pre-apprenticeship programs that help prepare students for going into construction, manufacturing, and electrician careers. YCAL also helps to support teachers by providing them programs and resources such as the Career Education and Work Standards Symposium and the Educator in the Workplace program that gets teachers out of the classroom and into various businesses to better understand the workplace. Now, unfortunately, of course, many of their programs have been impacted by the COVID situation and also by the fact that students are no longer in school as of March. And about 15 of their programs that normally take place from mid-March through May had to be canceled. On the bright side, though, the cancellation still allowed YCAL to have an impact on about 8,300 students' lives this year, and they were able to do most of their work. Now, it'll be interesting to see moving forward for them what's going to happen with fall when school starts again, because they're preparing to be flexible and leverage video technology, just like our Rotary Club is doing, to still continue the work that they do. This need to adapt will actually also open up some new avenues for them and allow YCAL to reach a broader audience, which will include students in middle school via a planned webinar series to help students better understand their careers even earlier in their schooling. So YCAL, thanks to you for what you're doing for the community. And Kevin, thanks for being a part of our Rotary Club. Appreciate the work and getting to know you. Okay, we're on to our program today. And our speaker is Janet Donovan from the Girl Scouts in the heart of Pennsylvania. Janet's going to be telling us a little bit about what the Girl Scouts are up to, what's going on in central Pennsylvania, and we look forward to perhaps enjoying these delicious cookies at some point. Janet, will you take it away?
Hi, I'm Janet Donovan. Thank you so much for being here today, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you Of course, generally what's happening is that we have cookies when we're thinking about Girl Scouts, and I'm so glad to hear that my Girl Scouts were out there delivering those to all of our Rotarians, so thank you. I'd also like to just give a warm shout out to York County Rotarians generally, because I have had such a wonderful warm welcome from York County as I take on the responsibilities of being the CEO of Girl Scouts in the heart of Pennsylvania, and I'm coming from Virginia, so really happy to have relocated here in central Pennsylvania. I think most people think about Girl Scouts and they think about cookies, but right now, what we have to do is take a look here at what we're doing, and then in particular, I'm hoping to give you an oversight into what Girl Scouts does and what we're doing, and that we are actually more than just cookies. So if you look here, you'll see a picture of Julia Gordon-Low on the left, and she is our founder. So more than 100 years ago in 1912, she started our very first Girl Scouts with the idea that girls should be independent and self-sufficient. And what was unique about her vision at the time was that she created troops that crossed socioeconomic barriers and racial barriers in a time long before women even had the right to vote. That vision has sustained us for the past 100 years and moved us forward, and it is still so relevant today. So really happy to be and proud to be part of this movement that is now 1.7 million girls strong. In the heart of Pennsylvania, we have a 30-county footprint that goes all the way up to Northeast Pennsylvania, Susquehanna and Wayne County, all the way to the Maryland border down here in York County, and as far out as State College to the west. So we have about 13,500 girls in our 30-county footprint, and our mission is to build girls of courage, competence, and character who make the world a better place. What's unique about Girl Scouting is that it is girl-centric, girl-led, and a girl-friendly environment. And so right now, we're hoping to continue to build that program, looking toward a GSUSA goal of 2 million girls by 2025. Everything we do in Girl Scouting is based on the Girl Scout leadership experience. And as you look at this slide, you can see the 4 pillars that make up the Girl Scout leadership experience. They are STEM, and in GSHPA, we've added A for arts to be STEAM, also outdoor, life skills, and entrepreneurship. And those 4 pillars are where girls get to take action to change the world. And what we know is that the leadership program that we're providing provides a promise to girls that if they take on those activities under these subject areas, that it will result in these 5 life-changing outcomes. And you'll see the outcomes to the left side of the slide. An increased sense of self, positive values, that they will be challenge-seeking even in times where they know they might fail, that they will develop healthy relationships, and be able to contribute to community problem solving. So I'd like to take a minute to just go over each of those pillars. So life skills, this is a fascinating slide to me. Our life skills badges all address sense of self. And what you find is that on a scale of, with a maximum of 5, is that girls have the highest sense of self when they are sometime between the ages of 5 and 6. And that actually continues to ratchet down for non-Girl Scouts all the way through high school. For Girl Scouts, it ratchets down slightly until they're 11 to 13. I do remember being 11 to 13. It wasn't a fun time. And then if you remain a Girl Scout, though, what you see is an increased sense of self and the widening gap between Girl Scouts and non-Girl Scouts. And the way that we do this is through all of our badge work, our journeys, and through our highest awards, which I will talk about in a little bit. The second pillar of our Girl Scout leadership experience is STEAM. And our STEAM initiatives are based on the fact that we know that women and girls are underrepresented in all levels of the STEM pipeline. As early as 2nd grade, children believe that math is for boys and not for girls. We also know that women only make up 50% of, or women make up more than 50% of the US workforce, but less than 25% of the available STEM jobs, and we are trying to conquer that gender divide. So at GSUSA, we know that there are 4 STEM outcomes that we're looking for. We're looking for confidence, we're looking for competence, we're looking for interest, and we're looking for value. And we have 4 STEAM mobiles that are out traveling our 30-county footprint, and you can see a picture of what one of our STEAM mobiles looks like in there. And those STEAM mobiles can provide STEAM-related activities to girls, every girl throughout our footprint every year. We have 14 different programs this year that were newly created, and each year we've been creating new educational programs, and we do that in conjunction with our program partners. For example, in York County, Maui Construction has been a local partner for us. We have also, in just York County, had last year over 1,100 girls in 46 visits with our STEAM mobile through troops and community events. We also engaged an additional 227 girls, mostly with the York City School District in fiscal year 19. And this year, before COVID, we were working with the Red Lion School District to provide that level of programming to our low-income families, which is based on schools that have a 50% or higher free and reduced rate lunch population. These program partners are across our footprint in York County. You'll see a picture here of ACO Materials hosted a tour and Crane Building Badge Workshop. And the girls toured the local manufacturing plant and they talked to staff and they built cranes that were later reviewed by the staff. Our third area of the Girl Scout leadership experience is the outdoors. And we have 4 different properties in our 30-county footprint. Those properties that are closest to York are Camp Furnace Hills and Camp Happy Valley and Lancaster and Adams counties. We have 4 different leadership outcomes that we're looking for anytime a girl is in the outdoors. We want them to have competence, we want them to have confidence, we want them to build interest in the outdoors, and we want them to understand what it means to be an environmental steward. What we have found through the Girl Scout Research Institute, which Girl Scouts has its own research institute in Manhattan, New York, is that just one badge is enough to make a difference. One outdoor badge is enough to make a difference for our girls. And it allows them to have increased confidence about their ability to be in the outdoors, increased interest, increased participation in environmental stewardship, and increased confidence. So I thought I'd just give you a couple of quotes from some of the girls after they've had their first outdoor experience. One girl said, "I learned about the sky and how to read star maps." Another said, "Bees are important in nature." Another, "I can make a difference as long as I do something," really demonstrating her increased confidence. And another, Daisy, who was 5 years old, said, "How brave I am." And in terms of our stewardship of the environment, one girl said, "There's a lot more to leave no trace than just not littering." So these educational programs are increasing our girls' ability to make a difference in the outdoors. And what we know is that 71% of girls members between 8 and 14 had their first outdoor activity through Girl Scouts. And half of those girls would not have had access to outdoor activities if they hadn't been a Girl Scout. Our next area is entrepreneurship. The Girl Scout Research Institute shows that 6 in 10 girls have an entrepreneurial mindset. This is all girls, not just Girl Scouts. That entrepreneurial mindset, so what is that? And I know many of you in the audience are entrepreneurs, but what is an entrepreneurial mindset? It means that girls aspire to change the world. It means that they embrace challenges and take risks, and that they see opportunities as both an opportunity for failure and an opportunity for growth, and they accept those challenges equally. They're also open to collaborating and working with others to brainstorm about new ideas. We also know that girls will explore their entrepreneurial interests for future careers. As they get older, though, unfortunately, they're less likely to think that society will support them and encourage women to be entrepreneurs. So girls who are not Girl Scouts become less and less likely to be entrepreneurs as they get older. We do see a difference in girls who remain Girl Scouts, and that's because of their continued exposure to entrepreneurial activity. And what is that entrepreneurial activity? It's cookies. The cookie program is based on the idea that what we're trying to do is to increase girls' opportunities in 5 different areas of business. We want them to learn these 5 skills: decision-making, business ethics, people skills, goal setting, and money management. So when the girls are doing their sales, they are actually doing an entire program. That program involves working on financial literacy badges. It involves marketing. It involves supply chain management. How are they going to get their cookies distributed all across the troop area where they are? It involves trying to determine with their colleagues, other members in their troop, because it's girl-led, whether or not they're going to have booth sales, and if so, where those booth sales are going to be. It involves going out and trying to actually encourage businesses to allow them to have booth sales. That entire package results in entrepreneurial activity that makes it more likely that a girl who participates in Girl Scouts will be an entrepreneur as a future career than a non-Girl Scout. And we're very proud of the cookie program that we have. The girls then, as a troop, decide what they are going to do in the way that they use their cookie money, and understand from this chart in what we call how the cookie crumbles, how those profits from cookies get redistributed to girls, either in their troops specifically or across the council in terms of activities that we provide for them. So 27% you'll see actually goes back to purchase the cookie product from Little Brownie Baker. About 9% goes to administrative costs from the council. 20% of those go directly back to the troop, and 44% of that goes across the entire council for girl-related programs. Here's some examples of how girls have spent their troop cookie proceeds. One girl traveled to the World Association and the Girl Guide, to Girl Guides at the Swiss Chalet. Another girl, and with her troop, they spent a week at Camp Small Valley learning how to do campfire cooking and participating in their week-long experience with high ropes and other outdoor activities. Another troop took the first aid course, and they purchased an AED machine for their community meeting space. So why Girl Scouts? Well, here's the leadership outcomes that we were looking for. If you go back to that first slide that I had on the Girl Scout leadership experience, we're looking for 5 outcomes through all of our activities: our sense of self, positive values, that they are challenge seeking even though they might fail, healthy relationships, and community problem solving. And what we find is that Girl Scouts have these 5 leadership outcomes more than non-Girl Scouts as we do the surveys across girls in each of those age groups. They learn to persevere by facing challenging problems. And right now, what we know is that it is important for girls to see themselves, especially as entrepreneurs. And our girls have been facing that during COVID-19 in the same way that every other entrepreneurial business has. And they have taken the bull by the horns and had some amazing results as a result of their ingenuity and risk-taking behaviors. So we're very proud of that. What we do know is that girls spend 99% of their lives alongside boys, and that some of that results in girls being less likely to take risks or to engage in competitive environments. And we know that girls are more likely to be ultra competitive with one another in environments where there's only 1 or 2 spaces for them to take the lead, but in an all-girl environment, it doesn't work that way. So this all-girl, girl-led, girl-centric environment has positive outcomes in all of these areas for our Girl Scouts. I wanted to talk to you for just a minute about Girl Scout Highest Awards. So if you haven't heard of these, you may have heard of the Gold Award, which is our highest award, but we also have other community service awards that build to that. So by the time girls are in middle school, they can begin a bronze award. And you'll see here the numbers of bronze awards that have been awarded across our council, and in addition, the number of awards that have been awarded in York County. So right now, what is important to understand is what each of these awards stands for. So the bronze award is something that the troop generally does together, and it's a community service project. The silver award can be 1 or 2 girls who are doing a community service award or community service project. And then the gold award is something that a girl takes on herself and does as a community service project with the idea that it is going to have sustainable impact on her community. I'll give you a couple of examples from York County. So last year on the Gold Award project, Alexis Logsdon, and I hope I pronounced her name correctly, she built a storage unit for York Catholic High School. And it was out at the football field. She created the blueprints. She applied for the building permit. She collected all the donated materials. She organized a construction team. And she used the opportunity to educate community members about York Catholic High School Athletic Association. One of the Silver Award projects from last year is pictured here, and that is a 5K benefit for Bell Socialization Services. And it was the idea behind it for these girls to raise mental health awareness and to destigmatize mental health issues throughout York County. So what's our response to COVID-19? I think what's important here is that Girl Scouts have a history of taking action going all the way back to World War I. And that taking action and providing support isn't just for each other, but it's also for our communities. With the use of today's technology, Girl Scouts is in the heart of Pennsylvania is still meeting. We have virtual troops, we have virtual activities, and they are also providing support not only to one another, but also to their communities. There have been girls who are participating in making masks through a national program at GSUSA. They're also strengthening their sense of camaraderie by having Girl Scout sing-alongs on Saturday through our Zoom sessions. The Girl Scout troops are meeting on a regular basis too. And one mom wrote, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, because in a time when everything else has been stripped away from my daughter, who is now a kindergartner, she can't do sports, she can't be outside in the park with her friends. She so looks forward to having her Daisy meeting online with her troop leader every week." So I think what I would say here is that we've had several calls to action, and I'll talk specifically about how our girls have done in regard to entrepreneurship. So on the 6th of March was the first case of COVID in our 30 county footprint in Wayne County. On the 7th of March, we had 2 million packages of cookies delivered to our warehouses. 500,000 of those packages were sent out to troops. And we were scheduled to have 3,000 cookie booths across this cookie season and didn't get to hold any because of COVID-19. So what are these girls doing with 500,000 boxes of cookies sitting in their garages and in their homes, and how are they going to sell them? They rallied in a way that every American entrepreneur has rallied. They have figured out how to pivot, how to market online, how to do contactless delivery, how to work on trying to sell virtual cookie booths, and so that they can donate to first responders and to mental health clinics and to and to hospitals, so that we can get those cookies distributed. And across the footprint, we will close on May 31st, having sold 1.9 million packages of cookies, all due to girls' entrepreneurship. I'm so proud of what they've been able to do. As you'll see on this next slide, here's sort of what our calls to action are. There's a couple great pictures here. One of which is your own JT down here, donning his mask along with my director of product program and retail, and they are collecting cookies right now. I want to just really give a great shout out to JT for allowing us year after year to do one of our Mega Drop sites right there in York. I very much appreciate it. So the call to action here, I should also say to the left, is one of our board members, Anthony Billett, who owns his own company, is an entrepreneur himself at AB Sketches, and he is there with a troop of girls who are going in and creating their own online design cookie shop. So happy to have Anthony as a board member and to bring his perspective, his entrepreneurship perspective in particular. So here's a couple things that I would love for each of you who are listening to be able to do. Identify those Girl Scout alumni who are in your network, in your organization, and help them reconnect to Girl Scouts in the heart of Pennsylvania. We are looking for that connection with our adult alumni so that they can provide that continuing mentorship to this next generation of young girls. And also, I'd like you to take into consideration all of the things that you've seen here on our leadership outcomes, particularly the business outcomes that you can see from our cookie program. And so when you're hiring, if you see that there's a Girl Scout among your employees, I'd like you to give that some serious consideration, because those girls have what it takes to be successful in your business as well. Of course, we want you to support the cookie program, and that's one of the downsides of not being able to be there in person. I would be providing cookies, so perhaps next year we'll be able to come down and deliver some cookies to the York County Rotary, and I would be proud to make that happen for you. I also am looking for an opportunity to partner. As I mentioned, we've had some partners in York County. We're always looking for program partnership so that we can offer continuing programming to our girls across the footprint. And I am always looking for the possibility of expanding our board membership and our committee work. So if you have interested young professionals who would like to be part of a nonprofit and do committee work, I would love to be able to interview them along with our board chair. So thank you very much. And at this point, I am going to stand by for any questions.
Yeah, thanks so much. Really appreciate the program today, and we do have some questions. So
Okay.
Here we go. First question is, if Rotarians want to buy cookies now, is there a place that they can do that?
Absolutely. So the best way to do that is to go to our GSHPA, Girl Scouts Heart of Pennsylvania.org website. And shame on me for not putting that out before. There will be a Find Cookies link on there, and you can type in your zip code, and it will tell you what the closest troop is to where you are, if you are also interested, and then you can either have them delivered or just order right online. The other thing that I should mention is we are still, our last day for cookie sales is May 31st, but we are continuing beyond May 31st to take donations if you are interested in buying a virtual cookie booth. So for example, if you wanted to buy cookies and donate those to your employees, perhaps when they come back to opened up business, or if you wanted to buy cookies and to donate those to a local charity or to your hospital or to first responders, we can do that as well. And you can just go ahead and email me, and I will get you connected to the right person. So we are still open for business for individual sales through the 31st of May. And then after that, or between now and then, as well as after that, for anyone who would be interested in purchasing a virtual cookie booth of whatever denomination you would be interested in doing to help our local community in a way. There's nothing that says, there's nothing that brings smiles like Girl Scout cookies. And we've seen that in so many ways in which troops are delivering those, either contactless or before in our yellow counties, where they're able to actually take them to the areas themselves and deliver them. So thank you for that.
Excellent. So the next question is actually for me. It says, will I be declaring of these Girl Scout cookies on my tax return? And the answer to that for all of our Rotarians listening is I will be consulting Club Treasurer Doug Berman for advice on exactly how I should be handling that. Thank you for that question to the two people who happened to send it at exactly the same time. Very funny, guys. Really appreciate that. All right, Janet, back to real questions here. How how are the Girl Scouts responding to the rising number of girls leaving the Girl Scouts to join Boy Scouts and the interaction between Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts?
Sure. So what I have found in my own experience is that girls who are joining Boy Scouts aren't necessarily the same girls who are joining Girl Scouts. So I'm not seeing a huge trend of girls leaving Girl Scouts to join Boy Scouts. My own, I reflect back on it, and I don't have anything other than my own anecdotal experience, but I reflect back on my own experience as a mother of 3 daughters. And I will tell you that when our first daughter was old enough to join soccer, we put her in soccer. And then when our second daughter was old enough, we put her in soccer. And then when our third daughter was old enough, we put her in soccer as well. And that was just a matter of having 2 parents and 3 kids. So I believe that there are many girls who have older brothers, and they've been the tag-alongs to Boy Scouts. And so I think that sometimes that's a piece of what happens. I don't see a big shift of girls moving to Boy Scouts. They're a competitive youth organization in the same way that so many others are, and a great organization. So I hope that all youth, are able to participate in the organizations that will enhance them the best. So what we offer for girls is a girl-led, girl-centric environment, and we're still open for business and hoping that girls will join Girl Scouts.
Great. Next question is timely in the sense of how has the COVID pandemic impacted your operations, and what are you planning to do to deal with that here in the foreseeable future?
Sure. So I talked about it a little bit. I will say what's been wonderful for us actually has been the way that we have been able to pivot. So we're still offering Girl Scout programming across the board. Girl Scout programming is probably happening right now for girls within our footprint. And in addition to that, we are able to offer national programming in a way that we weren't able to do before. So combining with GSUSA, we are able to share that type of online programming across. I'd say the biggest shift for us is going to be what happens this summer, because we are not opening for summer residence camp this year, but we will be offering virtual camp. And during virtual camp, girls will be receiving a kit for whichever week that comports with the theme that would have otherwise been the same theme at summer residence camp for them. So for example, we have one week of camp that it was going to be water centric. And so when the girls get their kit, it will have the same types of activities in it that they would have been doing at camp. Water testing, environmental, but they will be able to use it with the materials that are in the kit, along with any regular household materials that they may have at home commonly used. So that's been a big impact for us, but we have been able to pivot, and we're fortunate in that girls are able to still continue with Girl Scouts during COVID in a way that for many of them, other activities have been canceled in their lives. So appreciative of that. We are, of course, like other businesses, looking at how we will move forward when we move past the pandemic. We don't believe that we will return to exclusively in-person programming in the future, because we find that girls have actually been in the virtual programming environment for a long time. And so we envision that we will be offering hybrid programming and moving into the future, both virtual and in person.
The next question is this: are men allowed to play a role in camping and volunteer activities within Girl Scouting?
Absolutely. So we do have male volunteers. We do have male troop leaders. And so we do a background screen on every troop leader. If there are men who want to participate either as troop leaders or as volunteers, and we also have what we call episodic volunteers. So if there are men who have a particular skill set, maybe it's a skill set in the outdoors, or maybe it's a skill set in the entrepreneurial world, who are interested in participating, they would go through the same background screening check that our female volunteers go through. And once they're passed with that, of course, we do require a female troop leader to co-leader if there's a male troop leader, but we required co-leaders in every circumstance. So yes, we are very interested in having volunteers, and in particular, I think it can be very attractive for people to join both men and women as episodic volunteers, and we're always interested in that.
Great. This next question is says, thanks for your service, and how did your service in the Navy,
In the military, okay.
this, lead to your leadership role with the Girl Scouts?
Sure. Thank you very much. So for those of you who saw, I guess there may have been a bio up. I served 31 years in the United States Navy, very proud of my service, and it was an honor to have served every day. I noticed on the slide regarding your newest emeritus member that he worked carefully with the Honor Flight, which is an organization I was familiar with that provides flights for World War II volunteers and now Korean Vietnam volunteers to go to Washington, D.C. if they've never had an opportunity to see our nation's memorials. And my job in the Navy really prepared me surprisingly well, I think, for a leadership position in Girl Scouts, because I was, among other things, in charge of the Navy Reserve Law Program. And so reservists are in a lot, also volunteers. They have full-time jobs, they have families, and in addition to that, they're serving our country. And similarly to Girl Scouts, we take care of volunteers as a staff, and volunteers take care of girls. So in that volunteer service delivery mode, it's important for me to lead our staff, to cherish those volunteers, in the same way that it was important for me to understand what it was that a reservist had to do while balancing that three-legged stool of reserve work, employment, and family responsibilities. We have the same thing in Girl Scouts. I wanted to do something. Of course, I was in a very male-dominated field in the military as a young officer. At one point, before women could be on combatants, I was the only female officer in a command of 46,000 sailors. So fairly male dominated, and it was important for me to continue a life of service and to continue to give back and mentor young women. So that's how I came to Girl Scouts. I should also say Central Pennsylvania, my father-in-law grew up in Hershey. He joined the Navy after he graduated from Hershey High School. He's the class of 1950 and still active, and was hoping to have their 70th class reunion back this August at Hershey High School. But of course, COVID has delayed that. So we're happy to be back though in Central Pennsylvania and really enjoying it.
Certainly a good place to live. Hopefully you can settle in and spend a lot of time here, Janet.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
So here's a question. It says, can you comment on the sale of some of the Girl Scout camps, particularly Camp Echo Trail in York County, and what the revenue from the sale has been used to do?
So the sale of the camps, I know at one point we had 12 camps in this footprint, and then it went down to 7. Before I arrived, we sold several camps beforehand. I do know that the proceeds from those camps, the 3 that were sold fairly recently, were put into board restricted funds. Those board restricted funds are used across the council for improvements to our other camps. And I think that the idea really is to continue to use our properties as an asset for girls. We do understand that the outdoors has such an impact on our girls, especially because competence builds confidence. And so if we can get girls outside and working on those skills, it's very important for them. I would also say that our partnership with the state parks has allowed us to reduce our overall costs to the council, because we do run camp at a loss every year. We do run taking care of the camps and maintaining the camps at the standards to which we want to maintain them. Ensuring that there's safety for all of our girls is very important. So I do know that there were some concerns about the sales of those properties, but I can tell you right now, we are very pleased to still have our 4 remaining camps and hoping to open them once we get through the pandemic again.
So as a follow-up to that, does the sale of the camps mean that the Girl Scout tradition of outdoor activities has changed and the focus of Girl Scouts has changed? You talked a lot about in your program, the STEAM focus now. How does the
Sure.
outdoor component still play into Girl Scouts and what they're about?
Sure, great question. So the Girl Scout Leadership Experience has the 4 pillars, so life skills, outdoors, STEAM, and entrepreneurship. And even as Girl Scouting is adding our new badge work, the badge work is equally spread across those 4 pillars. So the outdoors is still a very significant piece of what we're doing. We do realize that there are some girls who are less interested in outdoors, other girls who are more interested in STEAM. And so balancing that across all the diversity of what our girls represent and are interested in is important, but we do try to get girls involved in every single one of those pillars of Girl Scouting. So there's been no change in our focus. We've expanded that focus to include other things as well, particularly STEAM.
So with that in mind, can you comment a little bit about how Girl Scouts is connected with inner city areas, and are there inner city troops locally or throughout your region, more so than just necessarily suburban?
Sure. So within our footprint, we have girls who are in rural areas. We have girls who are in inner city or urban areas. We have girls who are in suburban areas across the footprint. And what we try to do every year through very generous donor funding is to work with underserved communities in what we call the alternate program delivery. And APD, as it's known, allows us to bring Girl Scouting into the schools and into community centers. They are typically staff-led programming. Last year, we had several hundred girls who benefited from this programming in York County. But beyond that, what it does is it allows year after year in those staff-led programs, and in some of our school districts, we are actually providing programming during instructional time for our kindergartners and first graders, because we have tailored our badge work and programming to a lot of the educational outcomes that the school districts are looking for. So last year we had over 10,000 badges that were done in the outdoors and in STEAM. We often offer that type of APD programming for our underserved communities as well, especially with our ability to bring those STEAM mobiles straight to the schools or to the community centers. They're able to participate in any of those 14 educational activities, to include robotics and a whole host of STEAM activities that they are able to do at the school with our staff-led programming. So very much interested in doing that. We will be able to continue doing that this summer. We're currently working on virtual programming with some of the library programs that may be open to our underserved youth. So right now, anyone who might be interested in helping through their company or through their corporate responsibility programming to help us fund those underserved community programs through APD, we're always interested in having partners help us with that. It's an incredible benefit to those girls. So thank you for the question.
With Girl Scouts' long legacy, there are very likely some national leaders in business or government who were involved in Girl Scouts. Can you highlight a couple?
Absolutely. So we have had, yes, we've had astronauts, we have had senators, we've had congressmen, of course, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. We have had many at CEO levels right now, and connecting to those alumna is something that we do both at a local level and at a national level. And girls are able to participate in that right now. Just since COVID-19, we actually ran a program where 1,300 of our girls were able to participate in an online program with some of the current female astronauts. And we are super excited to continue to call upon our Girl Scout alumna to help that next generation of girls grow.
And we have time for one more question, and it's this. The Girl Scouts have done merging and creating larger councils over the last few years. Obviously, there are advantages in the scale, but what disadvantages have come out of the mergers and consolidations of the various councils?
So I think that there are definite advantages in terms of scale. Probably one of the I don't know if it's a disadvantage. I think one of the challenges is that for Girl Scouts who grew up in a particular council, having them see a larger council as something that they belong to is a little bit of a challenge. So I think, for example, when the camps, each camp was in a previous council, then trying to see that girls and their troop leaders want to participate in camps in another region. And we are historically a merger of 4 previous regions. Sometimes that's a little bit of a challenge. I think that has been a tremendous advantage of COVID, if there is such a thing as an advantage, is that girls are talking now across councils, not just here in Pennsylvania, but across the country and across the world. And so they're getting an opportunity to do that in a way that wasn't available to them before, or in a way that they didn't think about taking advantage of before. In our most recent programs on coding and tessellations, we had girls from around the world, girls who were participating from Puerto Rico and from Japan and from Alaska and across the states. And so that has been a great opportunity for us. And I'm hoping that that will continue in the future, so that as we return to troop-led, to troop in-person events, that girls will consider going to a different camp than they've gone to for their lives, or participating with girls across regional boundaries. And that can only be to the benefit of all of our girls. So I hope that answers that question. And thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Janet. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your presentation and all the information you were able to tell us about Girl Scouts and what you're up to right now in the heart of Pennsylvania.
Okay, can I add I'll end with one story, and that is of a girl who was an 11-year-old junior, and she lived in a hot spot, and at the very beginning was already sheltering in place in her home. School wasn't yet up on virtual, and her mom went in to tuck her in a bed, and she saw her wearing her Girl Scout vest over the top of her pajamas. And her mom said, "Why are you wearing your Girl Scout vest over the top of your pajamas?" And she said, "Mom, it makes me feel safe, it makes me feel calm, and it makes me feel connected to Girl Scouts everywhere." And that is really Girl Scouts in a nutshell. So thank you so much. Very much appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
In honor of your program today, we will be donating a book to the York Suburban Middle School Library, and this book is called Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid. And we will make arrangements for you to sign the book plate that will be placed inside the book. And once you're able to sign that, we'll get it back to you. And presenting the book to you is Renee Oberdick's son, Shane, who's just finishing up 5th grade, and he will be turning 12 in July. So Shane, thank you for presenting the book to Janet, and we look forward to having both of you back at some point at a future meeting. Janet, thanks so much for being with us today.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Josh.
All right, Rotarians, thank you for joining us today. And for next week's program, we will be joined by Tony Calderone, the owner of several local restaurants, including 2 Tonys, the Cantina, and Aviano's Trattoria. And Tony will be talking about the restaurant industry in York, and obviously how COVID has impacted the local restaurant industry and obviously restaurants throughout our country and the world. Hopefully you'll join us for next week's meeting. Should be pretty informative and very interesting. Rotarians, thank you. We really appreciate you being here today, and we look forward to seeing you next week. This meeting is adjourned.